The registered letter arrived on a Tuesday. My brother Marcus's lawyer had sent it certified mail to make sure I couldn't claim I never received it. Inside was a formal eviction notice giving me 30 days to vacate the family estate at 1842 Willow Creek Road. The estate that had belonged to our father who'd passed away 3 years ago. I read it twice, then called Marcus. "You got the notice?" he answered without greeting. "I did. Want to explain what this is about?" "It's simple, Alex. Dad left the estate to me as the eldest son. You've been living there rent-free for 3 years. That ends now." "Dad left the estate to you," I repeated slowly. "That's right. I've been patient letting you stay there while you figured out your life. But I need the property now. My financial advisor says I can get $4,500 a month in rent, and I have tenants lined up." I looked around the study where I was sitting, the room where I managed my investment accounts, reviewed property documents, and handled the trust fund Dad had actually left me. The trust fund worth $8.3 million that Marcus apparently knew nothing about. "Marcus, we should talk about this in person." "There's nothing to talk about. The notice is legal. You have 30 days. Don't make this difficult." "When can you come by the house?" "Pie house," he corrected. "I'll be there Saturday with my real estate agent. We're doing a walkthrough to assess renovation needs. Make sure the place is presentable." He hung up before I could respond. I sat there for a moment, then opened my laptop and pulled up the estate documents. The ones Marcus had apparently never bothered to read carefully. Dad had been a brilliant man and a meticulous planner. When Mom died 10 years ago, he'd restructured everything to protect his assets and ensure his children were taken care of according to their needs and abilities. He'd known Marcus, charismatic, confident, terrible with money, would need different arrangements than me. So he'd set up 2 paths. Marcus got the house on Willow Creek. Full ownership transferred immediately upon Dad's death. It was worth about $850,000, and Dad knew Marcus would feel important owning the family estate. What Marcus didn't know was that the house came with a condition buried in the trust documents. I had the right to live there rent-free for as long as I wanted. I got everything else. The investment portfolio, the 3 rental properties in California, the commercial building downtown, and the actual family wealth. All in an irrevocable trust that Marcus couldn't touch. Total value, $8.3 million, generating about $35,000 monthly in passive income. Dad had told me about the arrangement before he died. "Marcus needs to feel like he won," Dad had explained. "He'll get the house, the estate, the thing he can brag about at parties. You'll get the financial security and the peace of mind. He'll never know the difference unless he bothers to read the trust documents." 3 years later, Marcus apparently still hadn't read them. But he had been busy. I discovered 6 months ago that he'd been telling relatives they could rent rooms in his estate for $800 a month. Our cousin Jennifer was paying him to live in the guest house. Uncle Tom was paying for the basement apartment. Even our Aunt Sarah was paying for what Marcus called the garden suite, which was actually just the converted garage. Marcus was collecting $2,400 a month from family members while I lived in the main house. And now he wanted me out so he could charge even more. Saturday came. Marcus arrived with a woman in a sharp suit carrying a tablet and a measuring tape. "Alex, this is Patricia from Premium Properties," Marcus said, not bothering with pleasantries. "She'll be listing the house once you're out." "Patricia, this is my brother. He's been staying here temporarily." 3 years is quite temporary," I said. "Well, it's ending now." Marcus walked past me into the foyer. "Patricia, as you can see, the bones are good. Original hardwood, high ceilings. Needs updating but definitely worth the investment." Hold up. I followed them as they walked through the house, Marcus pointing out features while Patricia took notes. "The master suite upstairs is obviously the crown jewel," Marcus was saying. "We can stage it to show the space potential. And this study," he gestured to my office, "would make an excellent nursery or 4th bedroom." "I'd like to clarify something," I said. "Alex, please. We're working." Marcus didn't even turn around. "The current occupancy situation," Patricia asked, glancing at me. "Will that be resolved before listing?" "Absolutely," Marcus assured her. "My brother has 30 days to vacate. After that, if necessary, we'll pursue formal eviction. But I don't think that'll be needed. Family resolves things differently." About that, I tried again. "Patricia, let me show you the backyard. The garden suite out back is already generating income. That could be a selling point. Buyer gets a rental unit plus the main house. They headed outside. I waited in the study. 20 minutes later they returned. Patricia was typing quickly on her tablet while Marcus talked excitedly about listing prices and open house strategies. We could list at $899,000, Patricia was saying. The rental income from the garden suite adds value. If your brother cooperates with the move-out timeline, we could be on market by mid-October. He'll cooperate, Marcus said. Alex, come sign this. He handed me a document. What is this? Agreement to vacate. Just confirms you'll be out in 30 days. Makes everything cleaner for the sale. I scanned the document. It was surprisingly detailed, including clauses about property condition, key return, and a waiver of any future claims to the property. I'm not signing this. Don't be difficult. You got the eviction notice. This is just paperwork. Marcus, we need to talk. Alone. He glanced at Patricia, then sighed dramatically. Give us a minute? She stepped outside. Marcus turned to me, irritation clear on his face. What now? Are you going to ask for more time? Because the answer is no. I'm going to ask if you ever actually read Dad's trust documents. Of course I did. The house is mine. You're welcome to contest it, but you'll lose. The house is yours, I agreed. But there's a condition attached to your ownership. What condition? I walked to the filing cabinet and pulled out the trust documents. The full set, not just the summary Marcus had apparently skimmed. Page 47, section 12, subsection C, I said, handing him the document. He read silently, his face gradually changing from confident to confused to pale. This can't be right. It's right. I had Dad's attorney confirm it when he died. You own the house, but I have an irrevocable right of residency for as long as I choose to live here. Rent-free. But I'm the owner. I can't evict you. You can't evict me. You can't charge me rent. You can't sell the house without my written permission to vacate. And, this is important, you can't rent any portion of the property to anyone else without my explicit consent. That's insane. Why would Dad do that? Because he knew you'd try exactly this. He wanted you to have the estate for pride and status. He wanted me to have security and stability. The trust documents protect both interests. Marcus sank into a chair. Jennifer, Tom, Sarah, they're all paying me rent. For a property where you don't have the legal right to sublease without my permission. Yes. So what, they can sue me? Probably. Though I doubt they will if you return their money and explain the situation. Revelation. How much have you collected? I asked quietly. Marcus didn't answer immediately. When he did, his voice was barely audible. About $72,000 over 3 years. $72,000 from family members for rooms in a house where you don't have rental rights. I didn't know. The house is mine. I thought I could do what I wanted with it. The house is yours with conditions. Conditions you would have known about if you'd read past the first page of the trust documents. He looked up at me, something like desperation in his eyes. What are you going to do? That depends. Are you planning to pursue this eviction? I already sent the notice to my lawyer. Patricia's ready to list. I've told Jennifer and the others they need to be out by the end of the month because I'm selling. I pulled out my phone and opened the trust document I'd scanned. Let me show you something else. Page 53. I handed him the phone. He read, his face getting even paler. If you attempt to evict me or sell the property without my consent, the trust has provisions for transferring full ownership to me for $1. It's an enforcement mechanism Dad built in to prevent exactly this situation. He'd take the house away from me? The trust would. It's automatic. Your attorney files eviction paperwork, the trust's executor, who happens to be Dad's lawyer, not you, gets notified, and the ownership transfer processes. You'd lose the house completely. Marcus stood up and walked to the window. When he spoke again, his voice was different. Smaller. I needed the money, Alex. My business failed last year. I've got debt. I thought selling the house would solve everything. I know about the business. And the debt. Of course you do. You know everything, don't you? Just like Dad. Always 3 steps ahead while I'm stumbling around trying to figure out which way is up. Dad didn't structure things this way to punish you. Didn't he? He got millions. I got a house I can't even control. You got a house worth $850,000 with no mortgage. That's not nothing. It's nothing if I can't access the equity. I'm drowning, Alex. The eviction wasn't about being mean to you, it was about survival. Patricia knocked on the door. Everything okay in there? Give us another minute, I called out. I looked at my brother. My older brother who'd always needed to be the successful one, the winner, the favorite son, and saw someone who'd been drowning for years and was too proud to ask for help. How much debt? I asked. Why? How much? $140,000. Business loans, credit cards, a second mortgage on my condo that I can't afford. And you thought selling this house would clear it? And give me a fresh start. Instead, I'm going to lose the house anyway because I tried to evict you, aren't I? That depends. On what? On whether you're willing to be honest. With me, with the family you've been charging rent, and with yourself about what you need. He turned to face me. What are you offering? A deal. You explained to Jennifer, Tom, and Sarah that the rental arrangements were a mistake and return every dollar you collected. You call off the eviction and apologize to me sincerely. And you sit down with me and Dad's financial advisor to create an actual plan for dealing with your debt. In exchange for what? In exchange for me not triggering the trust provision that takes the house. And in exchange for me helping you. Helping me how? I'll pay off your debt. All of it. $140,000 cleared. Marcus stared at me. Why would you do that? Because you're my brother. And because Dad wanted me to take care of you if you needed it. He just knew you'd never ask. This is in the trust too? No. This is me choosing to use what Dad gave me to help my family. The way he would have wanted. Tears formed in Marcus's eyes. I've been such an idiot. You've been proud and scared. Different thing. I told everyone you were a failure. That you were living off me. I know. I collected rent from our own family. I know that too. And you're still offering to help me? I'm offering to help you. But Marcus, this comes with conditions. You get financial counseling. You meet with Dad's advisor monthly. You stop making decisions about money without talking to someone first. And you never ever try to evict me again. Resolution. He wiped his eyes and nodded. Deal. All of it. I agree. Then let's go tell Patricia the house isn't listing. We walked outside together. Patricia looked up from her tablet expectantly. Change of plans, Marcus said. The house isn't going on the market. Family situation is more complicated than I realized. Patricia's expression suggested she'd seen this before. Should I keep the comps I pulled in case you want to list later? That won't be necessary, I said. The property's not selling. After she left, Marcus and I sat on the back porch. The porch of the house he owned but couldn't control, on the estate that was his in name but mine in function. I need to call Jennifer, Tom, and Sarah, he said quietly. Yes, you do. They're going to be furious. Probably. But you'll offer to pay back every dollar over the next 6 months, and you'll explain that you made a mistake. They'll forgive you eventually. How do you know? Because they're family. That's what family does. He laughed bitterly. Says the guy whose brother just tried to evict him. Says the guy whose brother is about to get a fresh start. We sat in silence for a moment. I really didn't know, Marcus said finally. About the trust provisions. I thought Dad just gave you some money and that was it. He gave me financial security. He gave you the family estate. He tried to give us both what we needed. He gave you more. He gave me more money. But Marcus, you have something I don't. What's that? People look up to you. They always have. You're the one everyone turns to at family events. You're the successful older brother. I'm just the quiet one in the corner. The quiet one who's secretly a millionaire. The quiet one who Dad trusted to handle money responsibly. That's different than being someone people admire. Marcus looked at me. I've been terrible to you. You've been struggling and didn't know how to ask for help. I'm asking now. Will you really pay off the debt? I'll have it cleared by next week. $140,000 from the trust fund. Dad would approve. And I can keep the house? You can keep the house. I'll probably move out in a year or two anyway. I've been looking at condos downtown. Really? Really? I never wanted to take the estate from you. I just wanted security while I figured out my own path. Mission accomplished. Marcus stood up. I should go make those calls. Jennifer first, she's going to be the most upset. Good luck. Alex. He paused at the door. Thank you. For not destroying me when you could have. You're my brother. I'm not going to destroy you. I'm going to help you. That's what Dad wanted. After he left, I walked back inside to my study. The eviction notice was still on my desk. I took a photo of it, then shredded the original. My phone buzzed. An email from Marcus's lawyer withdrawing the eviction notice and apologizing for the misunderstanding about property rights. I replied with a simple acknowledgement, then opened my banking app and initiated a $140,000 transfer from the trust fund to an account I'd set up for Marcus's debt payment. Dad had been right about everything. Marcus needed the house for his ego and identity. I needed the financial resources for security and independence. And both of us needed protection from Marcus's worst impulses. The trust had worked exactly as designed. My phone buzzed again. A text from Marcus. Called Jennifer. She's mad but she'll forgive me. Tom next. This is going to be a long night. I replied, you've got this. Call if you need support. Another text. Thanks. And Alex. I'm sorry I called you a failure. You're actually the smartest person I know. I smiled and replied, you're going to be okay, Marcus. We both are. I looked around the study, my temporary home in Marcus's permanent estate, the careful balance Dad had created to protect two sons who needed different things. Marcus got the house. I got the security. And now, finally, we both understood what we actually owned. Tomorrow, I'd meet with Dad's financial advisor to set up Marcus's counseling program and debt payment plan. Next week, I'd start looking seriously at those downtown condos. But tonight, I sat in my study in the house my brother owned but couldn't sell, protected by trust documents he'd never bothered to read, and felt grateful for a father who'd understood his sons better than they understood themselves. Marcus had tried to evict me from his inheritance. Instead, he'd learned what he actually inherited. A house with strings attached, a brother with resources to help, and a father's wisdom that protected them both from their worst impulses. The estate was his. The security was mine. And the family, fractured but repairing, belonged to both of us. Exactly as Dad had planned.